Well, would you look at the time? Welcome back. Today's Swiss Army knife will be the Victorinox Timekeeper. Stay tuned and we'll check it out. The Victorinox Timekeeper was introduced in 1992, and it is an unusual 91mm Victorinox knife that starts with the popular tool set of the Compact but replaces the tweezers with an analog timepiece. This model is Victorinox's first attempt at mating electronic devices into their knife, not to mention the Swiss passion for timepieces. And it paved the way for later models with digital timepieces such as the Victorinox Traveler. Now the Timekeeper carried a US model number of 53431 and was available with red Celador scales like we see here, which carried an identifier number of 1.3406, but it was also available with black Celador scales and carried a identifier number of 1.3406.3. Now at 91mm and 2 layers wide, it's a pretty handy little knife. However, due to the timepiece, there's an additional roughly 3mm of width added to it, which stretches the normal 2-layer models from a 1/2 inch out to an 11/16. Now earlier versions came with Roman numeral dials, as we see here, but later models had the Arabic numbers that we're used to today, 1, 2, 3, 4, and unfortunately the Timekeeper was discontinued in 1997. Alrighty, looking at our keyring here, we have it in the pre-91 location, but I'm not 100% sure how that plays out with the 2-layer knives, especially knowing that this was introduced in 1992, but that could be a carryover. So on the back here, we have our 4-turn solid corkscrew. But we also get the precision screwdriver, which is the earlier variant, with the round handle and the pat symbol, that ran from 1983 to the early 2000s. And then we also get the 1991 edition of the push pin in the scale. We get the multi-purpose hook, which was introduced in 91. And that does it for back layer tools. I'm going to flip over and start in the back here with our combi tool with 90-degree stop, which was introduced in 1985. And it is basically the cap lifter, can opener, wire bender or stripper, and a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, put into one, hence combi tool. But I wouldn't necessarily call the screwdriver a hollow ground because of how thin it is. Then we get our scissors, which are of the pre-92 pattern, having the screw instead of the rivet. Double band, but we do get the spring guiding groove from 1990. And then we get the standard main blade, and for tang stamp we have Victorinox Switzerland stainless Rossfry with the Officer Suisse, bow and arrow, and the plus sign touches. That is a 1986 to 1992 tang stamp. And then with this model, we kind of get the plus scales. So we get the toothpick, and the pressurized pen that writes in blue ink. But as previously discussed, instead of tweezers, we get a timepiece. Now, on my model here, I don't know if the battery's dead or if it just doesn't work, but it doesn't keep time. But just an example for the collection. So some similar knives to this are obviously the Victorinox Compact that removes the timepiece. And I'm not 100% sure if it comes with plus scales or not. I'm sure you can get it both ways. Then there is a Timekeeper Alarm, which is a similar knife, or similar in name, but a completely different knife because it has a digital clock in the scales and carries the Tinker tool set. And then there's the big brother to this, the Supertimer. And we'll check that out in the next video. So if you like these videos, thumbs up, subscribe below, and as always, I appreciate your time. Stay tuned and be nice to one another.